Hello students, welcome back to the English class. Today we'll be studying poem number 2 of First Flight, that is Fire and Ice, written by Robert Frost. Before we start with the poem, let us read few lines about the poet. Robert Lee Frost was born on March 26, 1874 and he died on January 29, 1963. He was an American poet. His work was initially published in England before it was published in America. He was awarded the Congressional Gold Medal in 1960 for his poetic works. On July 22, 1961, Frost was named Poet Laureate of Vermont. Fire and Ice is Robert Frost's most popular poem, which was published in December 1920. Students, throughout history, there has always been a seeming fascination with how the world will end. In the poem, we'll see that Robert Frost has added his own ideas to it. Let us start with the poem. The poem consists of only 9 lines. Some say the world will end in fire, some say in ice. From what I have tasted of desire, I hold with those who favor fire. But if it had to perish twice, I think I know enough of hate to say that for destruction, ice is also great and would suffice. So here we'll see that Fire and Ice is a very strong symbolic poem which expresses the idea that the world would end in either ways, that is by fire or ice, where fire stands for as the emotions of desire, greed, conflict and passion, whereas ice stands for hatred, insensitivity, intolerance, rigidity and coldness. Let us start with the first verse of the poem. Some say the world will end in fire, some say in ice. From what I have tasted of desire, I hold with those who favor fire. The poem begins with a difference of opinion of two groups. One group is of the opinion that someday the earth's core, that is the core of the earth, will get so heated up that it would result in fire, which will destroy the earth's surface. On the other hand, the second group says that if the temperature goes down to an extent that makes life on earth impossible, it would also have the same effect. So here we will see that this is the literal meaning which we have understood from the lines. But symbolically, if we see both the components, that is the fire and ice, they are compared with self-destructing human emotions, that is desire and hatred. Then further he says that from what he is aware about fiery desires, he would favor the ones who say that it would be fire which would result in the destruction. So here we see that the poem very artistically underlines the philosophy that we let our emotions rule us, and if we don't control them, they will surely destroy us. Let us read the second verse now. But if it had to perish twice, I think I know enough of hate to say for destruction ice is also great and would suffice. Then, by not waving off the first opinion of fire, he considers if the world has to expire twice, ice would be equally competent in ending it. Because the human capability of insensitivity and hatred has the potential of inner destruction. Though slow and steady, it has the same effect that desire has on us. So if given an opportunity, ice would be as good as fire to destroy the world. So students, we see that the poet is originally of the opinion that he has been very closely associated with the fiery desires and considers it capable of bringing human beings on the verge of destruction. But then he thinks that icy hatred is just as capable of ruining humans as fiery fire is. That is, if fire would lead to rapid destruction, then ice would lead to silent damage. So students, here your poem ends. Now let us see what all literary device, figure of speech, the poetic devices are being used here, that we'll see now. The first poetic device that we see here is assonance. What is assonance? Assonance is actually the repetition of the similar vowels within the same sentence or phrase. It is the repetition of vowel sounds in same line. The repetition is at different places in different words. For example, the long sound of O in I hold with those who favor fire. Here we'll see that the repetition of vowel O is coming again and again. In hold it is, we can see O. Those, in those also we can see O. And in who also, in favor also we can see O. So the long sound of O could be seen in the at different places. Then we have alliteration. Alliteration is the repetition of a consonant sound at the start of two or more closely placed words. For example, the sound of F in favor fire. These two consecutive words are there. F and F we can see are in the same line. Then world and will be also in the same line. You can see here. Some say the world will end in fire. In first line we can see world and will. Both these words are starting with W. That means the same consonant word. So with the same alphabet. So it will be an alliteration. And then we can see in your fourth line also favor fire. F and F. Again two alphabets are there. Two same sounding words are there. So it will be an alliteration. So for the assonance we can see assonance in first line we can see I is a vowel which is being repeated. Some say the word will and in fire will and in we can see that I is being repeated. And then if I say in your fourth line I hold with those who favor fire, O is being repeated. So two literary devices we have seen here. One is the assonance and one is the alliteration. Alliteration also you can see here. F sound is there in favor fire. This consonant is being repeated. So alliteration and assonance, these two literary devices are being used here. Then comes imagery and anaphora. Imagery is used to make readers perceive things involving their senses. That means when we are reading some sentence, a picture starts coming before our eyes. That means senses are being used, are being involved. So here we see, for example, some say the world will end in fire. So we start imagining that fire. To say that for destruction, ice is also great. So imagery is being used here. Then comes anaphora. What is anaphora? It is the repetition of a word or expression at the start of two or more consecutive lines. Example, some say is being repeated at the start of line number 1 and 2. We can see here. Anaphora is there. Some say the world will end in fire. Some say in ice. Again, some say, some say. This is the repetition of the first part of the sentence into and second in second line also it is being repeated. So what is anaphora? Anaphora is the repetition of the first part of the sentence. This is generally used to achieve some artistic effect or some musical effect, or when we want to emphasize a particular point. Then comes personification. Personification is to give human qualities to inanimate objects. In this poem, fire and ice are capable of destructions. Thus the poet personifies fire and ice by giving them mind and power that they can destroy anything. So it is also personification. Enjambment, I have told you, in earlier Dust of Snow when we did, I told you what enjambment is. It is defined as the thought or clause that does not come to an end at a line break. Rather, it moves over to the next line. That means without any punctuation marks, you get a full sentence with complete meaning. For example, from what I have tasted of desire, I hold with those who favor fire. Now this we have already done. Enjambment, last 3 lines also we can see that ice is also great and would suffice. So here also we say enjambment is being used here. Then comes rhyming scheme. Rhyming scheme here is fire, ice, desire. That means ABA. Fire and desire, same rhyming pairs are there, but in between we can see ice. So I am using B here. ABA. Then again fire, twice, hate, ice, great, suffice. Then again it is changing. B, fire is A, twice B, hate is C. Then because twice and ice are the rhyming words, this will remain B. Then great, suffice. So the rhyming scheme here will be ABA, ABC, BC, B. So students, here I end the explanation part. Whatever doubts and queries you have, that will be doing in the Zoom session.